And Good Morning Kenya gets to continue. Thank you for staying with us. We get into our health tech segment, and it is more or less the same conversation that Mom Kondo was having on the other side, that is on the radio side. This is a conversation that we need to keep having. We need to speak about this. I mean, the numbers are really, really worrying. The number of fatalities on our roads as at now, you know, from the statistics that we have lost 4,682,000 people, 4,682 on our roads. Can you imagine? That is not just a number. These are people. These are individuals. This is someone's father. This is someone's mother. This is someone's sister. This is someone's brother. These are, you know, children. It is human beings' lives being lost. So it is time for us to try and see where we're going wrong and how can we make it better. And even for the response, or for the responders, the first responders who get to these scenes, what is your responsibility? Because you may be the person to save that life. So that is what we will be looking at. Our topic of conversation is safety first, FAST, and fast response, FIRST. That is what we are looking at, and I am more than pleased to be joined by three gentlemen. I will begin with my immediate left. We have Hesbon Odhiambo, who is the National Emergency Operations Center Coordinator, Red Cross. Welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you here today. And then right next to him, we have Dr. Chege Mwangi, who's an orthopedic and spine surgeon. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
And then we also have Charles Konde. Charles Konde is a road safety and rescue, is into road safety and rescue awareness, and is also an accident survivor. So we will be getting the views of, you know, an accident survivor, and a spine surgeon, as well as a first responder, that is someone from Red Cross. So let's get into this conversation. First of all, let me begin with just, you know, a general question. Where do you think we're going wrong? Why are these numbers escalating? And why is it escalating at the speed that it is escalating with? Maybe I may begin with you.
Okay. Good morning, Kenya. For me, I think it is how we respond to the accidents. When an accident happens, how that person is...
Charles, I'll have to interrupt you. Sorry about that. I'm being told we need to head over to Serena. Now let's get back to our conversation. We're talking about safety first and fast response. And I want us to get to the most important bits of this conversation, since time is not on our side. So let's get direct to this. And I want to begin with Hesbon. Hesbon, in an accident, you know, after an accident has already occurred, what are the first 5 minutes of after it has already occurred really about?
Okay, thank you very much, and good morning. So the first 5 minutes is very critical in an incident or an accident, because this is where all activations of life support, what we call chain of survival, occurs. The first people on ground need to act very fast. Of course, in the other countries, you'll find, like you're told, you need to call the emergency line immediately. So as you're running towards the incident itself, if it's safe enough for you, then you'll find someone saying, call an ambulance. So what we are saying is you need to know how to call for that help, even as you're doing the other interventions. So the idea of calling is one of the most important thing. The second thing is to secure the area if possible, because at this point everybody is running around, everybody is scared. If there's a blast or an impact, maybe a sound, everybody is kind of like running away or towards the incident itself. So the person who is responding, the first responder on ground, and here we assume that it's the local community, then they need to have the ability or the skill to be able to secure the area, like try and just tell everybody to move away from whatever has happened. And then the other thing is to identify what, or rather the impact itself. If it's human related, we have maybe human beings who are in it's a vehicle, or if it's a building, then we need to identify that there are people here, and of course, your safety first of the person responding, and secondly is the safety of the other person. You need to kind of like find out if there's someone who's alive, if they can hear you. At this point, you want the other person to help you help them. If they can hear you, then you ask them to come towards you. If they can't hear you, then you go towards them. This is where now you start deploying your skills that you have learned, that is life-saving skills. So those first 5 minutes, critical things, identification, calling for help, and then understanding what to do first, so that you don't get into doing something that you're not trained in. You might end up causing more harm than helping.
Okay, so I'll get back to you on the skills, you know, because most times when this happens, because it's usually unexpected, it is an accident.
Yes.
We don't have skilled people or people who are actually trained for such, or even simple first aid. Most of us don't even know it. And when we talk about emergency lines, do we have those numbers? You know, when you say call an ambulance, what number am I calling? Who am I calling?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's one of the best questions that we should ask ourselves this festive season, even as we go to our celebrations in the village or anywhere we are going to. Do you have an emergency line number? Do you know your fire number? For us as the Red Cross, we have the 1199 toll-free number that you can call. And of course, with the kind of landscape we have right now in terms of incidents, then we are able to connect you with different agencies. Even if you don't know any other number, you can connect with the fire department, NTSA, KENHA, whoever can be able to assist you first. We don't have to get our own ambulances there first if they're not available, but the nearest ambulance that can be able to support you. If not the ambulance, then even the police or anyone who can help you for that matter, and depending on where you are.
All right. Doc, from your point of view, maybe, you know, from the experience you've had, I know you've dealt with a lot of maybe accident patients. How often do you get to see injuries that have been made worse by people who intentionally were not, you know, that wasn't their intention in the first place. They went there trying to help, but maybe they made it worse. Have you experienced such cases?
Oh, thank you very much, and good morning, Kenya. This is a very good question, because I have actually treated a lot of people, including last week, where a patient got a road traffic accident, was riding his motorcycle, and he fell down after hitting another motorcycle, and got a severe spinal cord injury, because of the way the patient was handled. So the first responders or the bystanders can actually cause more harm than good if they hold or deal with this patient in a way that is not protecting their spine or their injured limbs. And one of the commonest thing that I see is when the patient is bleeding and people applying a tourniquet. A tourniquet means applying circular, maybe a rubber band or something around that limb to prevent bleeding. But what we teach or what we advocate is direct pressure on the area that is bleeding. Even if it means one person dedicated to putting pressure on that particular area that is bleeding. Because eventually when you put a tourniquet around that particular bleeding area and the patient gets to the hospital, you may end up losing that limb, because you're constricting the nerve, you're constricting all the blood vessels, and we eventually get to lose that particular limb. The other thing I see often as a spine surgeon is spinal cord injuries that have been made worse because of the way the patients or these victims are handled. And the other, of course, issues is loss of life that could have been prevented because of initiating treatment measures at the site, which would have been prevented by just waiting for the emergency response team to arrive at the scene. So I see quite a lot of injuries that have been made worse because of the first responders trying to get the patients out of the building, for example, and using equipment that eventually injure the patient more, or getting these victims out of the vehicle or out of the particular area of injury, and that causes more harm than good. Yes.
So what are maybe some of the early actions that make a difference, specifically when it comes to spinal injury outcomes? So probably I'm that person who's there first. We've gotten to this accident scene, road accident scene. Are there maybe things you can say that one would do to avoid, you know, injuring them further or giving them a spinal injury that would, you know, be fatal or cause, you know, long-term injuries?
Thank you very much. Yes, one of the things that is very key to emphasize is once you get to the area, the first thing after checking your safety and the safety of the victims and coding the area, the next step is calling the emergency numbers. Like we have the 999, we have 911, we have 112, so that you can activate the mechanisms to get help from trained personnel who would come and help in that particular situation. The next thing that one can do after ensuring they are not in danger, because sometimes it could be fire, it could be fuel that is leaking, and you don't want to get into that particular scenario. You code off the area, and once you've activated safety for yourself, safety for the victim, and you have called for help, the other thing is to check on the people who are involved in the accident. Are they screaming? If they are screaming, those ones are breathing. Those ones are already having their airway patterned. So what you just need to do as the one taking lead in that particular time before the emergency response team comes is to ensure there is somebody talking to them, to engage them, so that they keep talking, and by talking their airway is open. The ones that are silent are the ones who are particularly could be having more injuries, like head injury, a spinal cord injury, or the bleeding. When someone is bleeding, like we have alluded to, is just by applying direct pressure using sterile clothes. And this one we say that in all our vehicles we should have a first aid kit. And in the first aid kit, usually there is a bandage or clothing material. Apply a direct pressure on the wound. The other thing is to elevate the limb above the level of the heart. That one slows blood circulation to that particular area and reduces bleeding. If someone has a spinal cord injury, they just need to be kept in that particular position until the response team arrives. If someone has a broken limb, like a fracture of the thigh bone or fracture of the shin bone, just keeping the limb straight in that particular position where the victim is, keeping the limb straight and splinting maybe with the pieces of wound or pieces of timber and wrapping around, that would help in preventing the fracture or the bones injuring the tissues around. But the most important thing here to emphasize is call for help and ensure your safety and the safety of the victims.
All right. Mr. Charles, you have lived experience.
Yes.
You know, you were in an accident. If you don't mind, if you can just walk us through, you know, the moment that accident happened, and if you can remember what the first people who got there, you know, did, and if it made an impact to you being seated here today.
Okay, thank you. My car, I had an accident, but it was not a collision. My car burst into fire on Thika Road at Resambu, 2016. So I cannot tell you how I got out of the car. I just found myself out. People removed me from the car. And the injuries that I got, I cannot explain, because fire and spine, how do you connect the two?
Yeah.
So it made me think a lot about...
You got a spine injury?
Yes. He operated on me.
Oh.
Yes. And today I can walk. And what I learned is that what happens after the accident happens is really important. People need to know. And I thank God for them, because I would have died there in that fire. It was bad. But also, I learned, I kept thinking when I was in that bed for a long time about the kind of love we have and the compassion we have in Kenya. We have a good culture of loving each other and caring for each other.
That's true.
But also, it can also be like a bullet. It can kill you. So when it is not managed well, it is actually dangerous to have that. So for me, for fire and water accidents, I think it is okay to rush and save. But for crash, like a head-on collision vehicle, someone is trapped there, don't pull them out. That's what I would say, because the way you cut, you come with the access to cut the vehicles, the mabatis, is really scary, even for the person trapped there.
Yeah.
And also the way, the more you hit that vehicle, maybe there is something that has pierced the person, so you also adding more injury to that person. Yeah.
So you were saved from the fire, yes?
Yes.
But you got a spinal cord injury.
Yes.
From the saving, because I believe maybe it's from
the
how
saving.
they pulled you out of the
Yes,
car.
because I had a safety belt. So the way they removed me from the vehicle gave me a spine injury.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would love to get to that with you, husband.
Yes.
You know, just from, as a first responder, you know, for like, who is responsible in ensuring that we have more people who are trained on this? You know, because as I mentioned earlier, it happens as an accident. So there may not be someone who's there who's, you know, trained, who's a doctor, who's well trained in being a first responder or in first aid. So just who is responsible into ensuring that at least, you know, hata watu ambao wanaishi along the roads, hapo karibu na barabara, I think there would be some actions taken to ensure that anyone living just near the roads can be taught simple first aid. Who is responsible for that, and how possible is that?
Thank you so much. That's a good question. And again, the responsibility is to all of us. Allow me to blow it up just a little bit, because injuries such as what Charles got, spine injuries, cannot just happen on roads alone. There are falls in the houses, in the homes that we are in. We have staircases, we have lifts, we have our children running around now that they've closed school. Where I live, someone just got injured yesterday, a small boy. He was playing soccer and he had a big cut. We had to do stitches. So it's not about just the road alone. Such injuries can occur anywhere from different falls. We're going to festive season. People are going to go to recreational areas. We have drowning cases. We're going to be lifting people from the water, rescuing people. So what I would say is, it is our responsibility your responsibility as a person, that you know, or you ensure that you sensitize your family, your people, your colleagues on first aid. Basic first aid is just like basic, like what Dr. has said, just applying pressure on a wound, not going too much into doing things that you're not trained in. There are people in this country that are really, really trained in certain things. If you look at the fire department, they have extrication material to cut those wreckages in a very systematic, skilled way. So it's you and me to ensure that we get into trainings on first aid or safety. We have them in schools. In schools we have basic junior first aid clubs that are already there from different agencies. Red Cross has some of those in many schools across the country. And this is where you start from. It starts from that young child who can be trained on basic life support. And of course, on the roads, we know we have the first responders who are always on the road. We have some of us who travel past, let's say, Gilgil. I'll be passing there going to Western. Today, I'll pass again in December next year. So, but there's that border guy who is normally there every single day. So it's me and you who are in this field of saving lives that can be able to go there and sensitize these people. We have different agencies that can take time to go and do some sensitization and awareness session. I like what Charles is saying, that he's a survivor and he would like to go back and probably just say, guys, I survived, you helped me, but because of what you did, then I got some other injury that is, it's going to take me like a long time to heal. But what else can we do? We need to assist guys to do these rescues in a basic skilled manner. Of course, they will do what they know how to do best, because at that time they're saving a life. Of course, there are many lives that have been saved also. Unfortunately, some have already gotten this. But it is our responsibility to do this. Now, as Red Cross, we sensitize and train our community-based response teams across the country. And we try as much as possible to map out those hotspots and ensure that we can be able to sensitize some of those youths. And if you find areas like some hotspots or black spots across the highways, then you'll find that there are people who respond even during the night. You ask yourself, where have they come from? Those are people who have the zeal to go and support. They have the calling to go and support. Those are the guys to identify, working with all the stakeholders to sensitize them. So, in general, I would say that there is no one person that I can say that this is the responsibility of the police. But the most important thing here is coordination. Coordination is the major aspect. If we found someone who could just take a step back and say, no, don't pull him out at first, let's coordinate this better from that team, then Charles would not have the problem he has today. If we find someone who understands what Daktari will want as a pre-hospital person, then that person will take a step back and say, no, let's not do this. The police will go and clear the way and ensure that there's no traffic blockages, ensure that the area is safe for us to operate. We will give you time to come and report, and everybody will have their sector to be able to do what they know how to do best. This way, the casualties can be able to be taken. So the safety aspect is really, really wide, but I would say it is the responsibility of us to be able to ensure that our teams are well sensitized, using the right institutions that are licensed to do this. We can approach them. We know we have corporate social responsibilities in different institutions that are already offering such kind of services. We can go there and get this education.
Yeah, and I think it's also upon each and every one of us to just learn basic first aid.
Of course.
Not necessarily really for accidents, you know, road accidents, but as you mentioned, these accidents happen everywhere. In our homes, you've gone to the swimming pool, someone is drowning. So I think it's just upon each and every one of us to learn basic first aid. Basic first aid, and you could be that person who's saving a life. Doc, there's emotional reactions when accidents happen. I know his husband has talked about, you know, you need someone who's coordinating, ensuring that, okay, guys, yes, I know we need to get them out of there, but let's hold on fast, you know. But, you know, within that moment, sometimes there's the emotional reactions that are happening. There's panic, there's fear. So maybe what do some of these reactions, what impact or outcomes do they bring about?
Thank you, Vivian, for that question. The emotions surrounding an accident or such an event is throw up of adrenaline in our systems. And when adrenaline is high, you may do things that are more harmful than good. And so one requires to be composed, one requires to be gentle, one requires to handle the situation in a way that one can control the crowd. Because what we usually see is once you get to an accident site, for example, there are so many people who are giving commands and instructions from different directions. And there is always that one particular person who is screaming the most from an accident, and mark you that is not the most critically injured person. So these emotions need to be controlled very well by taking charge. When you get to the accident site, as the first responder, as the first person at the accident site, you need to take charge and control and assign roles. You can assign roles already when you get there, and you have ensured your safety and the safety of the victims, ensuring that no more harm, no more accident can occur. Because sometimes we have seen in a site of an accident, nobody is stopping the other oncoming cars and coming to ram into people. Or some people are rushing there to fetch the fuel that is flowing from the tanker. And there is nobody stopping them from doing that. So once you take charge and you assign roles in terms of mitigating more danger, in terms of assuring and comforting the ones who are shouting and crying, and also assign roles to some people to keep on calling on the emergency numbers and giving them clear directions and location and the extent of the injuries, and also other persons doing the assessment of breathing or the the nature or the magnitude of the injuries. So those emotions controlled in that way will help manage the situation better, so that people will not come with their pangas and shockers, and they want to wreck or they want to cut the wreckage, injuring the person who is already injured by the more activities that they want to initiate. And so that calmness is very important. And like we have said, most of the times we find the people who get to the site are the border operators in all over the country. Yes. And I think it is very important if we can have a situation where our border people get basic first aid training, so that now when they get to the site, they are able to take charge and be able to manage these emotions as they coordinate those activities as the emergency response team are on their way coming, so that we do not go and handle the injured people in a way that would cause more harm, like more spine injury severity, which are gotten from the extraction of people from the debris.
Yeah.
Yes.
Charles, how has your experience maybe changed your view of safety or about safety today?
Okay, my greatest fear today is not about the accident, because I have interacted with many victims of many survivors, and the greatest fear they have is not having another accident. It is being removed from the cars and being transported.
Really?
Yes. It is the greatest fear. The pain, you lose everything at once, and you don't even know where you're being taken to. And they take everything you have, and your life changes overnight. And that's why from the time I was able to walk, I have been learning how to walk properly, and it has taken me, this is the second year, and I will be walking from Molo to my Mahiu, talking to border people, talking to the people around the roads, that when an accident happens, please do these things we are talking about here. Don't rush to do what you don't know. Just like you don't give your car to the teacher to repair, don't try to tamper with the human body if you don't know how to do it. Just stop the bleeding, talk to the people, and also keep calling the emergency lines. And also, I would say it is very important for all of us to love ourselves enough to learn first aid. It is not the duty of the government. It is not the government or the NTSA that causes the accident. It is us. We are the people who drive drunk. We are the people who drive and you know you are sleepy and you're still driving. We are the people who walk with our headphones on your ears with loud music on the streets, and there are vehicles coming. We are the people who cause the accidents. So we can avoid them if we just behave. We do away with that culture. We create a new one. So we must start the conversation, all of us, door to door. Tell yourself, tell your neighbor, tell your children, tell your parents. Let us learn how to save lives and how to stay alive. Yeah.
So you have taken it upon yourself to do the awareness.
I'm going to walk the whole country with this feet God gave me back. And I will talk to everyone that I can, anywhere, at night, in the day, so long as I can bring one change at a certain area, I will do that. And I'm starting from Molo all the way to Nakuru, Gilgil, Naivasha, and stop at my Mahiu for the Christmas. And then after Christmas, I'm still going on.
Wow, that's really nice.
That is
that's
the first
a really good initiative.
Thank you.
A really beautiful initiative. We need to be finalizing the conversation, so maybe I may take your final remarks each. Let me begin with you, Hezbon.
Okay, so I have a few points just to finish it off with. It's number one is to ensure that to ask the public that enjoy your festive season, but don't let celebration override your caution. That every single time you're going to be doing something, ensure that you're cautious enough. If you're driving, be cautious on the road. Let's avoid road rages. Let's just keep to the speed limits. Let's not race towards going home. Number two is you need to have that responsibility as an individual. That one responsible decision can save a life and even your own life. The other thing is we try as much as possible to celebrate safely so that we don't overindulge in certain things. Be aware of your situation and let's be responsible. What I can tell everybody is the best gift you can ever give your family this festive season is your safety. And that's one thing that if you have your life next year, then you have more responsibilities. Lastly is to, in case of an emergency, please don't hesitate to call our number from the Kenya Red Cross. It's a toll-free number that is 1199. We work closely with many other stakeholders. We'll be able to direct you to the right people right next to where you are at the place of incident. Thank you.
Thank you. Doc?
Okay, thank you very much for this session. So the first an important thing during this season, when there are accidents, the first thing is to preserve life. So do what you can to preserve life. And preservation of life means responsibility in our driving during this festive season. And it's important that we do not get distraction. And one of the things that we are distracted by is our phones. We are driving and you are texting. You're driving and you're trying to find a number to do a call. Just pull over and don't get this distraction. Or you're driving, you are eating. You're driving, you're drinking. And sometimes people are even drinking alcohol when they are driving. So let's be responsible so that we can preserve life. Because 1 minute can actually change your life completely or may mean death. So let's not overspeed. Let's keep to the traffic rules so that we get home safely and enjoy with our loved ones. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much for joining. Okay, let me give you 5 seconds.
Yes.
5 seconds.
What I would say is we need to speak when the driver in your vehicle is driving wrong. Speak out for that, and also give way. Even if you're on the right lane, you're on the right lane, and someone is coming to have an accident with you ahead, just give them way. Okay. Even if you're on the right track.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us for this conversation and for helping with spreading awareness, specifically when it comes to the rescue bits after an accident gets to occur. I am sure that you have gotten to learn a thing or two from this. And one thing I'll keep insisting on, let's all learn first aid. It will save our life.